I'm not here to ruffle any feathers or wind anyone up. Or am I? Either way, Springbank has often been well out of my price range. That's if I can even find it. That is until I visited the distillery. So now I finally get to answer the question. Does Springbank really live up to the hype? And is it good juice? Springbank has a cult-like status. It is damn near impossible to find a bottle from the majority of online retailers. That leads most of us to the secondary market, where it often goes for double or far, far more than its retail value. But why? What makes Springbank so special, and why can't I get a hold of a bottle? Thankfully, the distillery has pretty much one of everything to buy at their washback bar, and if you're very lucky, the shop has a few of the hard to find bottles to purchase alongside some distillery hand fills and their core releases. So, on my recent and first ever trip to Campbelltown, I got the chance to sample near enough everything Springbank has to offer, all the way from the most affordable drams to some of the bottles that were nearly as old as me, and I was lucky enough to pick up a few. But just before we dive into tasting some whiskey, let's start with a little history lesson. Springbank is located in Campbelltown, a region once known as the whiskey capital of the world, boasting over 30 legal distilleries and plenty of not so legal ones. Today, sadly, only a few remain, with Springbank being arguably the most renowned. Established in 1828, it stayed within the Mitchell family for nearly 200 years, which is a rarity nowadays. The distillery itself has a capacity of around 500,000 litres. Depending on where you get your information from, I have found some conflicting information about that. But either way, it's small. That's not a lot of whiskey in the grand scheme of distilleries. That is probably because it's one of the last distilleries in Scotland that perform the entire whiskey making process on site. That is everything from the floor malting to bottling. Everything is done in-house. This traditional approach is a massive reason why Springbank is so respected, and a reason often cited as what gives it such a distinct character. So, let's talk about the whiskey. Springbank has 6 core range releases: a 10, a 15, 18, a 21, a 25 and a 30-year-old. All of those are presented at 46%, unchill filtered and natural colour. The cask makeup of these is a mix of predominantly bourbon sherry casks, but I think it's the 18 and the 21 start introducing some port and some rum casks into the mix. I'll pop the pricing up on screen, but they range from the 10 at £52, the 18 is 110, with the 30 a massive jump up to £850. Now, you know, in my opinion, that ain't bad. When you look at Glendronach 12 and Bunnahabhain 12, priced around the £48 mark, the Glendronach, Glenfarclas and Glenallachie 15 around the £70 to £75 mark, and the Bunna 18 and 25 at £120 and £500 respectively, we're kind of sitting at about the right price. But is it worth that? Honestly, it depends. The 10 really doesn't excite me that much. It's nice and it's approachable, but for me the magic really happens at the 15. That is incredible juice. It's super big, it's super juicy, and it's got shitloads of that Springbank farmyardy funkiness, that Campbelltown funk, but at no point is it especially overpowering. It's just, in my opinion, a really good charismatic dram. So if we zoom out a bit, does Springbank really live up to the hype? Well, yes and no. There is no denying that the whiskey is good quality, and it's obviously fantastic to support a small independent family run business. The 15 and the 18 are fantastic examples of just really good whiskey, which many of you will remember. I tend to prefer the younger and more exciting whiskey, but there is no denying how good this stuff is. But here's the kicker. Because we now have this perfect storm of good whiskey priced well at retail from a craft low capacity distillery, there just isn't enough to go round. Unfortunately, that then opens the doors for flippers on the secondary market to snap up what little stock does actually get released, and suddenly you're seeing bottles that were once affordable being taken out of the hands of people that want to drink this lovely whiskey and flipped just for profit. For me, the 15 really is up there with some of the best whiskies I've had at retail pricing. It's good, but it's not £120 a bottle good. If you can make the pilgrimage to Campbelltown or are lucky enough to find these bottles at retail, the 15 and the 18 are definitely worth it. Even at the distillery where there are only 3 bottles to be sold, and there was a queue for those 3 bottles. You've got to thank my wife for snapping one of those up for me. Unfortunately, I don't really see a solution to this other than to stop buying it on the secondary market. Whilst there is a secondary market for it at these inflated prices, the flippers will continue to flip it. And it's a crying shame because more of this needs to be on people's shelves and in people's glasses. This is stuff that people should be drinking. And of course, it's fantastic to support a small family run, what is functionally still a craft distillery. For now though, I'll be fine holding on to these for a little while and seeing how long it takes me to get through them. As always, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Drop a like and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.